We doing? You know what time it is? It's time for contracting chatter. I am your host, Luciana Turner. Woo! Now we do not grow alone over here. So contact your business associate, pull out your contractor's notebook, and let's get to work this morning. This morning, we are just going to talk about some basic business and contracting concepts. Uh, I was recording some episodes for the podcast, and the next episode drops this Friday. Contractors Conversation everywhere podcasts are heard. Spotify, iHeartRadio. You really going to love it. I'm talking about DCAA audit readiness. And I really want to talk about doing business, period. And I really think this segment of contractors chatter is going to end up on the podcast when I finish. But yes, doing business as a general mantra. Every year I go through my recordings from my sessions with clients and potential clients. And I do that because I do what I call debriefs or lesson learns within my business. Now, I offer that as a service to clients, the debrief. And I do that internally as well. And that's because I look for a commonality. What am I talking to and what am I talking about to clients and potential clients? And one of the things I've noticed is this common theme around business structuring. And last year, which is why I've made some changes in my business, but last year, towards the end of the year, I had I felt it was a productive conversation for me around business practice. And it led me to this topic. If you've been in business for any length of time, you should not be doing the same thing. Hear me out. Walk with me a little bit. What I mean is, excuse me, your business practices shouldn't be the same. When you start in business, you tend to start with an idealistic viewpoint for most people. I know somebody's going to hear this recording and they're going to say, I wasn't idealistic. And if you weren't, this this conversation isn't for you. This conversation is for those who it resonates with. But that as you grow, as you sow seeds into your business, as you run into clients who expect you to do the world but don't want to pay you for worlds, as you run into clients who don't want to pay, as you understand there are different types of clients. As you understand, servicing clients and servicing business is different. As you understand that you have to switch from a consumer mindset to a business mindset. Then, as you continue to grow, you understand that you have to change your mindset again from a business mindset to a CEO mindset. You also understand that your business structure may need a review. How you start your business off may need reviewing. I like to call that the compliance factor. Is your business structure still compliant with its vision, mission, and operations? Not necessarily compliance as in regulations, which is a valid question, but compliance in regards to, does it still serve the mission it was originally meant to serve? I want to say again, is it compliant with the mission it was originally meant to serve? Sometimes we pigeonhole ourselves, or there are times business owners pigeonhole themselves because they feel as though they can't change the vision because they feel locked into it. And I'm here to tell you, your vision can change, and therefore your company structure may need to change with it. It's just as simple as that. And performing those periodic reviews is essential for business survival. I'm going to repeat that. Performing those periodic reviews is essential for business survival. What do those reviews look like? Are you using the correct systems? And if you're not using any systems, implementing them. Are you using the correct, do you have policies? And I understand people are saying, but it's just me. You still need to be following some types of rules and regulations yourself. Recalling the way you do things by memory every time is stressful for you. Relieve stress on yourself and write down how you want to conduct business. And that way you can refer to how you conduct business. When you run into situations with potential clients, you have a document that you can then send to that client. You can send to that potential client. But if it's all in your head, then what are you going to send them? Documenting your processes is just as much for yourself as it is for a potential client, and reviewing those documents periodically to ensure that they still align is a compliance factor. There's a phrase in government contracting called current, accurate, and complete for a reason. Do they still align? And do they still align with your systems? Are they current, accurate, and complete with your systems? Are the opportunities you're pursuing still in alignment or still in alignment with your mission? And if the answer is no, then you need to sit down and figure out, do you need new opportunities or do you need a new mission? Because sometimes your mission needs to change to align with the opportunities that you're pursuing, or you just need to pursue the opportunities that align with your mission. Once again, the review, the strategic debriefs at the end of the year. Your strategic plan, are you creating one? And then are you using it throughout the year? And does it align with your operational budget? If you don't tell your money where to go, your money will tell you where it's going. And then you will find yourself with bills, more bills than money. You will find yourself with projects you can't fund. You will find yourself with overages and overruns that you can't explain to the client. And then there's a problem. But your budget should be the tool that you use to instruct your money where to go. And a periodic review of budget to actuals should tell you the burn rate. And if you're burning faster than you're supposed to, then you either have a spend problem or you have a pricing problem. There's so much richness in that information. But if you're not doing a review of the information and analyzing what it tells you, see, a lot of times the information is there, it's just not being reviewed. And if you don't periodically review the information, what's the point in having it? A lot of companies, we hear this number about 80% of businesses fail, but we don't look behind the numbers to find out why. And a lot of times these businesses fail because they don't bother to run the metrics that they have because they're too busy running. Get into compliance with yourself and your business. Run the metrics. And if you don't understand it, and there's no harm in saying you don't understand it, every business owner is not a finance person. And stop trying to be as there's one woman I follow, she always says, stop trying to be the chief everything officer. Business owners who try to do everything with their businesses really burn and fail, and they crash and burn within a year of opening. And I believe the actual number is 18 months. No one is meant to do business in isolation, especially if you're trying to do government contracting. You will crash and burn every time. And people like to use affordability as the reason that they don't hire somebody. I want to say affordability is the reason why you should. But while I was recording DCA Readiness, which will be on my podcast this Friday, companies wait until they want to pursue an opportunity to try to figure out if they're ready and don't want to spend the money to fix their errors after they've been in business for years. And it takes money to fix the errors. It is what it is. It takes some money. You've been in operations 4, 5, 10 years. By this point, you're comfortable in your dysfunction. And then you want to hire someone to figure out if you're dysfunctional. You're going to have to pay for that. And then they come in and they tell you you're dysfunctional. You're going to have to pay for that. And then you're going to have to pay to correct your dysfunction. You're going to have to pay for that when you could just start from the beginning to be in compliance. You could just start from the beginning, putting the systems in place. You don't start your business for where you're at. You start your business for where you're going, which is why I'm creating the program that aligns for where you want to go. I always knew from day one in government contracting who my ultimate client was. So my business is structured around my ultimate client. And I'm going here. I would not hire coaches who told me my company was too complicated. Just because you don't understand my vision doesn't mean I need glasses. You don't understand it. And it took me a minute to get that straight. I paid money for a session, and I'm going to shout him out, Dr. Willie Jolly, because I received some advice from a man who I thought was a friend and a mentor. And he tore me apart. And I had to, good morning, Vanya. I mean, and it broke my heart what he said to me. And I paid for a session with Dr. Willie Jolly. And he told me something that reset me in a major way. Dr. Jolly told me that man gave you the advice he gave you because your vision was bigger than anything he could ever do. Take advice from people who are trying to do or who have done what you're doing. It set me free because I looked at the company he has and I looked at the company I was building. Of course, he gave me the advice he gave me. He built a job. I was building a company. So he couldn't understand what I was doing. He couldn't understand the business plan I wanted him to review. It didn't make sense because he built a job for himself. I was building a company. So I didn't snap out of it overnight, but it gave me the courage to snap out of what I was in and to stand up and walk again. You must review your company. You must review your systems. And you must choose coaches and mentors who are doing what you envision your company to do, to help guide you to do it. Good morning, everybody. If your mentor, your coach are running a mom and pop shop, but your vision is for a multinational business, they're not a bad coach or a mentor, but they're not your coach or mentor. You must find a multinational coach or mentor because they will see your vision. I remember being frustrated because I couldn't find a coach or a mentor because they kept trying to tell me I was looking for somebody who could help me build $1 million business. And they kept telling me that you should try to get your first $15,000. I was trying to get my first $1 million. And they kept, well, you need to try to make $30,000 your first year. No, I'm trying to make $1 million. What are you talking about? I had already won and lost $1 million contract, and you trying to tell me to make $30,000, and it was frustrating. And I'll talk about how I won and lost $1 million. That's for another day. You need to come to my event in September, and I will tell you about how I won and lost $1 million contract. That's a conversation for another day. And I was like, is it me? Am I the drama, as they say nowadays? I was in the drama. I was talking to the wrong people. But now I have a mentor and I have a coach. My leadership coach told me something, and she's a friend. She said, you're surrounded by $1 million people because you are supposed to be a millionaire. Snap up. Stand up. And I was like, what? We follow the same mindset coach. And she reached out to me. She said, she told me to reach out to you because we're supposed to be connected. That's what a coach does for you. Your coach connects you to people. I follow another coach who told me I invested in her conference. I went to her conference. Now, I met this woman back in 2014. I wanted to use her name on a grant in 2023. I reached out to her. Now, I didn't submit to the grant in time because of something that was going on in Sam's. But when I reached out to this Fortune 500 coach, because I've been following her since 2014, not only did she say I can use her name in the grant, and I'm not going to name her, drop her. She said you can use my name, period. That's what following coaches and being around Fortune 5, that's what having a coach can do for you. It opens doors. Investing, being in the room. But you have to make the investment. Strategic alignments. I started this conversation out talking about every year. I do a review of conversations that I have with clients and potential clients. And I do it from the position of how could I have been better. Then I do it from the positions of what can I learn. Then I do it from the positions of what are my clients and potential clients looking for. I want to ask you, are you doing strategic debriefs in your business? Are you strategically looking at your business at a minimum once a year and asking yourself, are you aligned? Why are you successful? And how can you take your success up a notch? Why did something not work out? And can you course correct? Why are you pursuing what you're pursuing? And is it in alignment with your mission? Why do you have that mission? And is it still in alignment? These are the questions you need to be asking yourself, because just because that's what you were doing when you hung up your shingle and opened the doors does not mean you should be still doing it now. I need somebody to ask themselves these questions. Are you still compliant within your current structure? And if your current, and are your current structure still relevant today? I was listening to a tax specialist talking about how most businesses are operating in a tax structure that isn't even compliant for how they do business nowadays. And he blew my mind. I'm really going to reach out to him to get him to speak at my event in September. He was saying most people need to change their tax structure. And when he was talking, my mind got to calculating. And I was like, I need to revisit my business structure. And when I got finished, I was like, this is taking me back to the structure that I wanted to use when I originally opened my doors. And yep, yep. I'm restructuring my entire business. hmm So not only am I going to have a tax specialist in the room, I'm gonna have somebody talking about, and I'm not only having a tax specialist in the room, I'm having an attorney in the room. So I'm going to close out this morning with, are you going to be in the room for the contracting business event? Day one is Business Development 2.0. We're talking about legally protecting your assets. We're talking about business structure. And somebody's going to say, well, I've been in business for years. No. We're not talking about that ABC 1, 2, 3 stuff. No. We're talking about systematically reviewing your current structure to see if it's still the right structure. Hello. I worked at, before I left corporate, a multi-billion with a B dollar organization. And even they still reviewed their structure. So why aren't you? I'm just saying. They reviewed their tax strategy yearly. So why don't you? Everybody, you love to throw around that phrase, success leaves clues. So why don't you pick up on it? Be in the room. The Contracting and Business event is September 17th, 18th, and 19th here in the Queen City of the South, Charlotte, North Carolina. I want you to be in the room. There is a VIP option where now the last day, the third day, is VIP only. Now, continental breakfast and lunch is provided for all attendees all 3 days. The third day is VIP only. And the third day includes some implementation day and I'm working the agenda now. So there's some very special VIP only activities on the VIP day. But every day is packed with information that you can go back to your room and put it to work in your business. So eventcreate.me, contracting and business, go sign up to be in the room. It's not a large event. There's only 100 VIP slots. And I'm closing VIP registration down early. But I want everybody who is anybody to be in the room in September. And then I'm going to close out this morning's session with this: a strategic debrief of your business at a very basic minimum once a year will make the difference between your business being here next year. And with that, I am Luciana Turner, your host of this morning's edition of Contracting Chatter. Please join me tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as I bring you Contracting Chatter. Have an amazing, amazing day. Remember, a stressed mind cannot create. I currently have 2 books out: Keys to Government Contracting and Stages of Government Contracting. As a matter of fact, I'm currently rewriting both books, but they're currently out. Edition 1 of both books are out. Becoming a power partner in government contracting is in production. I'm changing publishers. So if you want to order either book, you can. There's a delay in delivery because I'm changing publishers, but you can still order. I'm currently rewriting Stages to Government Contracting, and I'm making some edits to Keys to Government Contracting because of the publisher change. But all 3 books, Power Partner will be available at the event. That is the goal. So that is the book release date, September 17th. So I will see all of you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have an amazing day, and I will see you